China is planning to train 5,000 security personnel from developing countries in the next 5 years to enhance its global influence. The announcement was made in Beijing's Global Security Initiative paper. The report suggests as Beijing's global expansionist agenda has worried its rivals, that CPC is widening its influence. The paper is viewed as the alternative, remember, to the Western-led security order and has been composed by Chinese President Xi Jinping himself. So, significant strategy disclosed, of course, there of China in this publication. Group Captain Devnath continues to be with us on the broadcast. Group Captain Devnath, what is to be read into China's latest plans?
Uday, China's dream and Xi Jinping's dream is that by 2049, China should be #1 superpower in world. And it knows that there are various methods of becoming a global power. One is by trade, one is by commerce, one is by increasing industrial production, one is by increasing technical know-how, especially latest AI techniques, software. But one of the best ways of increasing your global influence is to get into military pacts with other countries so that they send their troops and especially young officers for training to China. You see, it is very natural. Any country, when they send their young officers for training to China, the young lieutenant, young captain and major, he gets influenced by Chinese way of training, Chinese way of fighting a war, Chinese way of decision making. And when after training, he goes back to his parent nation, and as the young captain or major goes back to his parent nation and becomes a colonel, a brigadier, a general, he still remembers with fondness his training days in China. So China knows that if it gets some young officers for training from abroad, these young officers will go back and be the ambassador for China in their own parent company for next decades to come. When these young officers become generals, probably they will influence the national policies, including the foreign policies of those countries. Going by tradition in some countries, China also knows that maybe one day these young officers will become the rulers. Many countries, the military influences the governance. So it is a long-term strategy of China to get hold of this young, impressionable mind, soft thinking officers and train them so that they think the way Chinese think when they go back to their own countries. Yes, Uday?
Yes, indeed. And Major Shah, the fact, of course, also is now these are further expansionist plans by the Chinese, which will obviously concern many of their rivals. But obviously, they are looking at this plan, we're told, over the next 5 years. So this is, a plan that the Chinese are now making for the next few years to continue their influence.
Right, Uday. Uday, I will give it in very, very clear perspective so that everyone understands. I can guarantee you that. See, what happened is China used to train anti-terrorism police officers in countries like Afghanistan, Pakistan, and they used to go and volunteer and give training over there to people for the counter-terrorism, so to say, operations. Now, last year, Xi Jinping had announced that the CPC will train 2,000 law enforcement personnel from Shanghai Cooperation Organization. Now, the member countries over the next 5 years, in fact, the SU, which we all know, is an intergovernmental organization which was founded in Shanghai in 2001. And it's been going fine. It's going reasonably strong since then, all right, fine. The format comprises of 8 member states, which are China, India, Kazakhstan, Kyrgyzstan, Russia, Pakistan, Tajikistan, and Uzbekistan. Now, there are 4 observer states. They are Afghanistan, Belarus, Iran, Mongolia. And then there are 6 dialogue partners along with them, which are Armenia, Azerbaijan, Cambodia, Nepal, Sri Lanka, and Turkey. Now, also the very fact that China has come forward and they would be training officials in Solomon Islands. Solomon Islands is towards the, if you see geographically, it would be towards east, but for the US, it would be towards the west. So about a year back, Solomon Islands is actually fragmented by 900 islands, and there's one major island, right? There are a couple of other small major island, but very fragmented 900 major islands. So it's difficult to control them. Now what happened, Solomon Islands, because they often have issues, there's so many islands, so they often have issues of pirates, of cargo problems. There are a lot of law and order criminal problems basically. So they had Solomon Islands that entered into a pact with Australia. And with that, Australia will look after the sovereignty of Solomon Islands like an elder brother. So that was going, everything was going fine. But about a year back, Solomon Islands and China very secretly, very slyly, and in a very slimy way, they signed a secret pact, which the documents got leaked. What does this pact say? This pact says that China will train their officials in Solomon Islands at the same time, which gives China a right to send their forces into Solomon Islands. Now, geographically, if you see, which is on the east, obviously for the US, it's on the west. Now, will Australia permit that? Because, see, it's like the Chinese forces will now come to Solomon Islands, which means geographically, obviously, the Chinese forces have come towards Australia. It's the same logic I'll give you where NATO forces, if they come to Ukraine, they will face Russia face to face on the borders. The borders would be exposed. Same thing now. Will Australia permit that? I don't think so. Now the very fact that...
Okay, we're getting in fact now this other big story as well. Stay with us regarding now another allegation being made by the US Department of Energy. They have alleged that the coronavirus pandemic likely arose from a Chinese lab leak, although the White House maintained that American intelligence remained divided on the issue. The determination was noted in a classified report by Director of National Intelligence Avril Haines' office. The Wall Street Journal reported that marks a shift. The Energy Department, which had previously said it was undecided on how the virus emerged. Sanjeev Srivastava, foreign affairs analyst, is joining us for more on this story. Sanjeev, take us through this latest inference, this latest allegation being made now against China.
Well, Uday, I think it's a significant shift by the US Department of Energy, which previously was believing that it is not very sure whether this virus originated from a Chinese lab. But now in the latest report, US Department of Energy has said that this virus is likely to have got originated from the Chinese lab. It's a significant shift. There are several other agencies in the United States of America. They believe that this virus originated from Chinese lab, though still there are some agencies, they are not very sure, they are still undecided. But the shift which is happening, and this US Department of Energy oversees the various laboratories of the United States of America. They have in a coordinating role. So I think this shift is a significant development, and I think if it is ascertained that this virus originated from the Chinese lab, it will be a major embarrassment for China. China has been attempting to hide the information regarding the corona pandemic. They have tried to put all sorts of hurdles before any kind of investigation which has gone on to ascertain the origin of this virus. But China has created hurdles. Even when WHO team went to China, they tried to create all sorts of problems to them. Even they had quarantined that team in China for a very long time, and only after some quarantine period they could enter into the lab. And Wuhan lab obviously was not very freely available to for the for various scientists and doctors to see what has gone on there. So China has been trying to hide the information regarding this, but the more and more facts are coming out of it, and it is likely that this virus may have origins from the Chinese lab, and this will be a major embarrassment for China. Uday, I would like to mention here that it is important to know that how this virus originated, so that international community can take precautionary measures for the future. If we do not know that how this virus came about and what kind of origins it had, then certainly there will be a chance, there will be a risk that in future also if any such pandemic struck, then we will not be able to deal with it properly. So to ensure for the future preparation that we remain better prepared to deal with any such pandemic, I think it is important to know that how this virus originated, and it is likely that it has origins from China's Wuhan lab. And this is the more and more facts are coming. This U.S. Department of Energy's latest report indicates to us that point. Though still investigations are going on, still if you see the statement by the U.S. Side, they said that they are not very sure and they cannot say with full proof that it has got origins. But certainly, the so far investigations are indicating that it may have originated from the Chinese laboratories, and that will be, as I said, will be a major embarrassment for China. But again, I reiterate the fact that it is important for the international community to know how this virus originated, so that we remain better prepared for the future.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.